So, hello guys, how are you? Thank you very much for visiting me here. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to react to various videos. At first, just just, um, out of my my first search, I found Joe Rogan's video with Peter Schiff on his official channel, Powerful GRE. For his full podcast, you gotta check him out in Spotify. Get a Spotify Premium to skip ads, or probably you like to hear ads. Up to you. Also, uh, sometimes you don't want to. You don't like ads, but you want. Anyway, guys, let's hear it.
Oh, freak bitches. So you don't think there should be any minimum wage at all?
No, no.
No, none. But so someone working for $1 an hour doesn't bother you?
Well, I mean, it's better than working for zero. I mean, people think that, they want to impose their morals and say, well, it's not right for somebody to work for
Right.
$1.
All right, guys. So this would be Joe Rogan talking with Peter Schiff. I know Peter Schiff, like one of the earliest financial commentators in YouTube. Actually, like I've been on YouTube ever since like this first, or ever since the second year of YouTube until many years. Like so, I've seen a lot of his videos in the past. I like some of his thoughts as well.
An hour. Well, people make rational decisions, right? And so if somebody is accepting $1 an hour, and that must mean that nobody offered them $1.50, nobody offered them $2. I mean, this is a competitive market. I mean, I know you have an employee over here. I mean, could you pay this guy $1 an hour? Would he work for you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, well, I guess because he could get more.
Right,
But-
but he's educated and skilled, and he's an
Well, that's
actual
the
audio
point.
engineer, and
Of course.
right. But it's very difficult for people to get that sort of an education, particularly in is Puerto Rico thought of as a third world environment?
No,
it's
it's
not a country.
not. It's not third world. But let's say some kid
Okay.
came in here that had no.
All right. I'm sorry, I have to like break the momentum all the time because this is a reaction video. I don't want you guys to. I don't want to take away views from these videos. Anyway, regarding minimum wage, it has always been an issue because there are a lot of people who are for and there are a lot of people who are against. Usually, entrepreneurs are on one side and workers are on the other side, naturally, right? So this year, when was this created? Cannot really see this. I cannot really see it. YouTube is weird. I don't know. If there's a new change or anything, but some videos I cannot see when was it made. Now, kind of weird. But it is. This is quite. This is years ago, right? And now people are like popularly for high minimum wages, but there was a time when like Austrian economics, nowadays they're still going on, like Trump, like populist people like condone for low minimum wages. Now, personally, I think in terms of minimum wages, there's a utility in giving people low minimum wages because the company have enough to reward people who performs really well, and for those who are at because for those who are not performing really well, their minimum wages would be unfortunately low. But I mean, yeah. So that so that's my point. For companies that have high minimum wages, though, the performance it's harder for the entrepreneur to reward the performer, and that could be a problem. However, though, if everybody, it really depends, fairness is not always simple. So but if everybody has their needs met, probably they are happier and they work better, the quality could be better. However, here's the thing, right? If the thing with equality is that it is unfair because people perform differently. And I think why capitalism works really well is because of meritocracy. People is because we have this ability to reward performance, and like we gotta have a right balance. The same thing with taxes, right? You gotta have the right balance where we have a room to reward performance. And like even presence of human beings is contributive. But you know what? I'm not going to go too deep. Let's continue on with the video. I'm also not going to watch the whole video. I'm going to skip around. But this video in particular, I haven't watched it, so I'm going to watch the entirety probably.
experience whatsoever, but he wanted to learn. He wanted to just get you coffee and just sit around and be around you. He's not that productive.
Yeah, they use interns, right? A lot of radio stations do that, and they don't pay them anything.
I know that's
But
zero.
I
That's
don't
$0 an hour.
I can't do that.
Well, then, yeah, but maybe you pay him $5 now, whatever it is. But
Right.
people are going to accept a job that's the best one they can get. And so, if somebody is working for $1 an hour or $2 an hour, by default, I know that they couldn't find a higher job than that.
Right.
And the reason is because they don't have a lot of skills. But if you don't have a lot of skills, the best thing you can do is get a job so you can get some skills. That's where you learn skills. You get more skills. You know, there are people that pay to get.
Right, so you get that, right? If we could have low minimum wages, a lot of people can be entrepreneurs and a lot of people can give jobs and they wouldn't have to be bothered with the law. But actually, in practice, I live in a country like who decades and decades ago, were third world country. Uh, we've It's been a long time since then, but I was still alive when things were much worse. Okay, and I saw like people doesn't care about the law. Like it is not really prevalent in people's life. Even now, I think it is still common people not following some aspects of the law, and people are not updating some laws that needs to be updated. Let's not go into there. Let's focus on minimum wage, right? I think it is, and I think he got a very good point right there. It's about being able to provide people jobs. If you cannot work, then how could you get the skill to go into like big companies, right, where the minimum wages are high, like their own personal minimum wages were high. And I think he has a really good point. If the minimum wages were high for everybody, then how could people who are not really skilled yet get jobs? That's a very good point. I want to continue on listening.
Get skills, right? If you go to school, you actually have to pay tuition. If I'm getting paid $1 an hour while I learn something that has value, that's better. You have people now borrowing money to learn a skill. People graduate college and they're in debt.
Right, but that's a weird argument, right? Because you're assuming that they're going to get a skill. I mean, they might just be handling packages and picking them up and moving to another location,
But even
or digging
that's-
a hole, or
Even that's a skill. I agree. Like because there's a social skill that is working within a community, working within a business. I'm not saying like Joe Rogan is wrong. Sometimes he plays devil's advocate a lot, and he's a very smart person, guys. He's a very good interviewer, and he's a professional. Okay, so let's not assume that he's not that. But I'm going to go against just his arguments. Okay, I'm on Peter's Schiff's side, and for this very second, right? Uh, yeah, if you just work at McDonald's, a lot of skills. I used to work in fast food as well. A lot of skills, a lot of understanding. I was like I got a lot working in the fast food industry. I wasn't even like I was just a regular. I was just a regular stuff.
Well, even that's like show up on time, be
Right.
responsible.
so discipline.
Yeah,
show
there's a
that
lot
you can work.
of
Yeah.
stuff that you learn when you have a job. But the problem with the minimum wage is that the minimum wage basically hurts the very people that it's intended to help, because the minimum wage basically says if you are a worker, if you cannot convince an employer to pay you $7.25 or $10 an hour, whatever the minimum wage is, then you cannot accept that job. See, it doesn't hurt the employer. It hurts the employee because it limits his options. It limits his ability to sell his labor for the highest price that he can get. And it limits his access to the job market. It's that, you can't get on that ladder. You remove the lower rungs. And so I can't climb up because of this arbitrary minimum wage. Because when you pass a
Do you
minimum
understand that? Like there's a ladder and there are rungs. I guess that's the word. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. So if the minimum wage is high, then the first step is high as well, and so this is reduces the labor's ability to bargain for jobs.
Wage. You're not going to force an employer, right? If I'm an employer and there's a minimum wage of $10 an hour, and somebody comes to me and they can deliver $5 an hour worth of productivity, meaning if I hire that person that will benefit me by $5 an hour, I'm not going to pay them $10 an hour because then I lose $5 an hour. The only way I'm going to hire somebody who's going to give me $5 an hour worth of productivity is if I can buy them, if I can, hire them for less than $5 an hour. So I can make a profit. So it's just like a floor. It's like if you cannot deliver enough productivity of whatever that minimum wage is, then you can't get a job.
Wow, guys, you know what? I feel guilty while watching this. This is a very good video. I think you guys should just visit this video. I don't want to siphon any more time and views from this. Let's move on to another video. I mean, guys, this is a very good point. It is so easy to understand. It's such a eye-opening knowledge, and I think if you just watch this until the end, which I haven't, there's a lot of understanding you get. You don't even have to agree, but there are a lot of good points in it already, and there's got to be more than this. This is 329. It's a 1024 video, so I don't know, guys. So I feel like I really want to watch this even more now. So let's move on to the next video. What is it? What's the next really good Joe Rogan videos? Um, uh, let's watch this. Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell is
Hello, freak bitches. We were just talking about Chris Cornell. We found out last night at the Comedy Store that he died, and then this morning found out that he hung himself. Just fuck.
It's hard to even comprehend. How do you comprehend that?
I'm living in a parallel universe. Doesn't make any sense. Like, how could someone it's easy on the outside looking in.
first of all, Wes, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what to say. I probably there's a difference in it's I am like I rarely encounter these situations, and I'm sorry that I assume Joko Willing's name wrong. I'm sorry, I didn't. This is Joko. This is Joe Rogan with Joko Willing, and Joko Willing is a Navy SEAL instructor or Navy SEAL veteran. How do you call it? He's an ex Navy SEAL, so that means he was a Navy SEAL, and he made a lot of videos, and now in particular he's talking with Joe Rogan, and they're like I admire him and Joe Rogan a lot.
A guy like that, but you like that guy was one of the best ever. Like, how does a guy like that even want to kill himself? How does the lead singer of Soundgarden?
To me, it just really kind of reveals the complexities of human life.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying. To have a guy that is at the pinnacle of his skill, the pinnacle of fame, the pinnacle of money, and for him to say, you know what, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, I open up Google here, and this is from Wikipedia, right? Christopher John Cornell was an American singer, songwriter, and musician, best known as the lead vocalist and rhythm guitarist for the rock bands Soundgarden and Audioslave. He also had a solo career and contributed to soundtracks.
I don't know what was going on in his head, obviously. Who knows if he was on medication, if he had some sort of an issue, a health issue, who knows? I mean, I would never speculate, but I don't understand. I mean, again, I don't know his life, but I couldn't even comprehend it. I can't even imagine it.
Well, that's one of the really hard things when you start talking about suicide for people that, for someone like me, and I haven't had suicidal thoughts, right? So when you go from that to somebody that not only has the thoughts, but then goes ahead and executes it, it's very hard to comprehend.
Yeah, I've met people that have done it before. I've had a few friends that have done it. I just have never understood it. I don't get it, but I don't know them. I mean, everybody's got their own unique mindset. And it's just, you know what's really crazy, man? I read a statistic the other day about suicide, that people in poor neighborhoods are far less likely to kill themselves. People that are in the struggle
Yeah, well, I actually believe that because they're fighting for something.
Yeah.
And someone that's already got everything, and then they're then end up with no drive, with no goal, and nothing left to achieve. And so,
So this is new for me. So if you actually live in a poor neighborhood, you're like there's low statistics on people from that kind of place to commit suicide. Right. So I've talked this in my blog. If you guys would want to visit it, is that I've recently just talked about this, talking about the responsibility of the parents, right? Because parents are the one who take the kids into existence, into the world. So they got to make sure that the kids want to live in the world. Uh, they are not suicidal. They are not helplessly keeps on wanting to end their life. So I think that is in perpetuity is the responsibility of the parents. I talk about it in my blog. So that is my opinion. Then that is I realize that's a very strong opinion. That probably is a taboo for some people. Um, so that's my opinion, my position on depression, right? It is a crucial thing, and it is a very very important thing. What I didn't expect is like that this statistic right here that he was talking about, that a poor community usually would have less people, less suicidal people. And I thought, you know what, probably because their parent, no, like previously I thought people are suicide, people could be suicidal because they have no money. So probably if the parents are so poor and they had kids, he the parents are not really a responsible parent. So I'm probably wrong in some aspects here. Okay, I'm probably still right in some aspects, but this my sentiment is kind of wrong.
so then all of a sudden they're just staring at the mirror without anywhere else to go.
You know, and I'm not talking about Chris Cornell in particular, but for some people I know, one of the things that happens is that when they become very successful and they're still not happy, then they get hopeless. They just feel like, well, I have everything, and yet I'm fucking miserable. You know, I have a nice big house, I drive this fancy car, and I still am miserable. Like there's no hope. Like this life is meaningless.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I don't know what to say.
To be honest with you, when you hear that, you just don't even know what to say to that.
You know, one thing that why I don't understand it, I like struggle. I like it. I think it's important.
No, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about having something that you're striving for, some goal. And like you just said, when all those goals have been achieved, and now you're sitting there at the top of the mountain, and you don't feel happy. What do you do?
Just pick up a fucking hobby, man. Find something you suck at and get better at.
Right, guys, this is very hard though, because I think it's personally I think it relates to property, right? If you're at the, if everybody, like from my point of view, right, I couldn't understand how crazy prominent people feel, including people like Joe Rogan. Actually, I don't understand. What I could understand is the quality of a property. When everybody thinks you are rich, well, you actually have no control over a lot of things that are supposed to be yours. And everybody said, oh, you're supposed to be grateful, or you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that. You shouldn't feel like this, shouldn't feel like that. And no one understands. No one knows that you actually have so little, and so little on your own control. I'm not saying that I am not blessed. Okay, like I have enough food I can eat. So that's compared to people who are not. I definitely very blessed. But am I owning something, or am I on debt? Like there's this constant question. I'm not experiencing it now. I'm an adult and I have a job. That helps. That helps. But definitely when a lot of people thought that you're like this and you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that anymore. That is like, that's how do you call, the Japanese call it kuyashi, like there's no way out. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I couldn't look. The thing with property is it's a social thing. Like on the biological property is obvious. You can control this, right? This is no one, no other people is going to control your hand. You're the one, like 99.99999% of the time you would be associate the control of your hand to yourself. That is like God given undeniable property. But obviously things like this is not enough, because if that's all we got, then we'd be living in a jungle, and we'd be like animals killing each other. And we obviously, after thousands of years, we have moved on from that. We already have a law, we already have like some articulations and stuff, that negotiation technology and stuff, right? And we've moved on from that, and we would have this artificial property, like land, like ownership, like this very thing, like your devices that you are using to watch. It's all in your control, and other people should not have a say, should not be able to control. And the like, I know the price is like, there's a value of money of that. The value of, I'm not going to get into the value of money, but the value diminishes the more it is being interfered with, or the more claims towards that devices other than yours is. So the quality of the property goes down. So that's what we talk about when we talk about property, right? You got a full property if no one else claims, no one else have a claim on that thing. Okay. um and I think that when everybody thought you don't deserve things, it is some kind of, and you already has it but you don't deserve it. It is a claim over your property, and if you cannot do anything about it, that's a form of robbery. That's a form of robbery, and that's what happened in the communist countries, actually, right? There are just people claiming over shit, and no one actually has everything. No one actually has everything, and it brings down the your motivation, obviously. And I think it's, in terms of depression, it relates to that. And I personally, like, I'm not going to get into too deep to that, but again, I said depression. By depression, I mean like this helpless. You want to not have this inclination, but you have it, that you want to end it, and it's like it's constant. And that's depression, guys. It's not like no one is paying attention to you, no one's cared about you, and then you're like, oh, if I show them that I wanted to die, I would get more attention, or I would get what I want. So I kept on telling myself. That's also a problem with people with a lot of drama. They could build up, they could talk themselves into depression, and that's like, but before that, that is not depression. Okay, but don't talk yourself into a depression. You okay, don't, no, don't be crazy. Like, another thing. So I'm just going to continue on with the video, guys.
I mean, that seems so simplistic, but I just, you and I we share this this very important part of our lives, which is intense exercise.
Indeed.
And I think that, I go to your Instagram almost every day to look at your watch. It's hilarious. If you go to Jocko's Instagram, it's a fucking Timex watch advertisement. It's all just that Iron Man watch with 4:30 in the morning, the occasional 3:30. This motherfucker's up at 3:30. And and you working out like that's his fucking hairy gorilla arm and a Timex Iron Man triathlon watch. But that's what's up, man. That's what's up. I mean, just fucking doing it, getting out there and struggling. And then once you do that, here's the thing. Like, like a friend of mine said that. He's like, I was saying something about you coming on the podcast, and he goes, "Can that dude take another picture of his fucking watch?" I go, "I hope he takes a picture of his watch every day until he dies." I go, "It's important. It's important. It's sort of, in a lot of ways, it's symbolic of what we're talking about. Like, no, it's not fun to look at your watch every day, but you're fucking doing it every day. Like, that's what's important.
Yeah, and I actually, early on, I had someone, say something along the lines of, on social media, on Instagram or on Twitter, are you just going to post another picture you're watching? I was like, unfollow me. Like, just don't follow me. It's no big deal. I'm not making you do it. And now it is kind of turned into something where I'm doing it every day, regardless of anything else in the world. Yeah.
Fuck them. I like looking at your watch. I want to know when I get up at 7 and I think I'm getting up early, that you've been up for hours and you're already done working out. I like it. I think it's but it is in a lot of ways. It's symbolic of what we're talking about. It's the struggle.
Yeah, and you know who doesn't complain about it? And I always make this point too. There's like a single mom somewhere.
So again, the relationship with they are talking about, they conclude this it's something to do with goals, right? People don't have goals. And yeah, I'm not like I said, guys, these guys are up, like these guys knows a lot of things that I don't know. Okay, so I'm not going to judge them whether they are right or wrong. I'm just going to tell them what I know. Okay, tell you what I know. So that's related to that. Okay, why would you not have a goal, which is like, if you lose your ability to have something, why would you attempt on something, attempt on venturing into a business, for example? At the end of the day, what you got is not yours. So why would you know what I mean? It's,
In the valley here, that's working 3 jobs, that's getting up at 3:30 in the morning so she can go work as a waitress somewhere before she's got her other day job that she's got to go through so she can feed her kids.
Yeah.
I get up almost as a luxury at this point. I mean,
right.
I'm a retired guy from the military, so I can kind of get up whenever I want.
Right.
I get up early as a luxury.
Sort of, but you also get up because that's who you are.
Yeah, and I get up because it is a way to maintain discipline in life, for sure.
To get that stone out and sharpen that blade every morning.
It's the grind that sharpens the axe, indeed.
There's no other way. There's no other way. And I don't want to say that this would have saved Chris Cornell or anybody else that did it. I'm not saying that. But I mean, for some people out there that aren't feeling good. But man, if you just fucking struggled more, you get over that struggle, you feel better. It sounds so simplistic, but I swear by it. I felt shitty myself.
Yeah, like different community have different rooms, in my opinion. Like different, like I don't hang out with a lot of backgrounds of people, to be honest, but there are nuances within the limited people that I've hang out with, and every nuances has different rooms in terms of they are more willing to leave you alone on different things, and they would not leave you alone on certain other things. So I guess different types of personality thrive in different types of communities. Okay, but still, I think as human beings, we got to be conscious about this, right? When you own something or your friend owns something, it is rude to actually, and I am guilty on this as well. It is actually rude to micromanage that guy, especially you're being passive aggressive about it. It's hard for the one who owns things to negotiate with you, or again, to defend himself from you. If you're like passive aggressively low key say that you don't deserve that, or you're supposed to use it for this, you're supposed to use it for that, like ugh, that's disgusting, guys. That is a disgusting behavior, and I felt so bad. I shouldn't have done it in the past. Okay.
And then force myself to work out. Then after I get out of there, I'm like, whoa,
100%.
Fucking
It's 100% guarantee. And actually, I had Tim Ferriss come on my podcast, and when he came on, he was like, "Hey, I don't know if I'm the right kind of guest for your podcast, because my podcast is like about war and death and killing and all that stuff, and so Tim's are about being better and stuff like that. So it's easy to
Okay, you raise your voice.
Yeah, I mean, but that's
Tim's
what it is,
about
right?
being better.
Tim's podcast is about improving yourself, and mine is about war and genocide and horrible things. And he said to me, hey, I don't know if I come on the podcast, but maybe I'm not the right type of guest or whatever. And I wrote back to him and I said, hey man, you've been through some dark stuff in your life, because he wrote a blog post years ago about him being suicidal and him contemplating and planning to commit suicide. This is Tim Ferriss.
Did he really?
Yeah, he went through
So guys, I really like these people. I really don't understand. If I really want to understand, probably I should talk to people who are more relatable to this situation. I'm sorry that I sounded like I'm an expert. I am absolutely far, like I'm still far from it. Okay, it's already 30 minutes. I'm probably going to make a separate video for other things. Thank you very much for staying here with me. Watch this video, guys. It hasn't, it's not over yet. There's still more going on. I've posted the link in my description video. Joe Rogan, if you watch this and you don't like it, I'll take it down. But I mean, Joe Rogan, why would? Anyway, guys, I'm sorry. Or probably his publisher or his manager or something wants from his. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.